standards, different this thing, but I have given a broad parameters in the phase of the situation. As I have taken this talk on GNLU, I am going to talk 5 minutes on legal aspect of it.
હા પણ પ્રેઝન્ટેશન દેખાવું જોઈએ ને તમારો આ તમે પેલું વિડિયો બંધ કરો તો સાચું આ દેખાય.
Whatever information which I am sharing with you, I have collected on the web. The authenticity of the incident is not confirmed by me. So please bear with me on this thing. The example we are using is to explain how you can look things in a different way whenever you are in a job deal. Job may be taken as a consultant, as a legal authority, or as a manager. All the way you will be able to explain how to handle the situation. With this, the 5th August, we are going to talk on GST recent changes. Okay, 5th and 6th, we are going to repeat the same because the 47th Central Council meeting, GST Council meeting has made far-reaching changes. So we are going to discuss some on 5th, next maybe on 13th or 14th. Just come for any query regarding the GST. You are welcome to mail me on nichedepadak@gmail.com, or my phone number is the WhatsApp number is there, and I'll be happy to guide you on that. Even anyone who wants to join CISA or any other courses for related to system and security, I will be pleased to guide you how to go ahead with that. Okay. Today we are talking on this. Satya Kurko is going to talk on 12. He is the head of in Bank of Baroda legal and in the cyber cell. So the talk of them is on 12th, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Now I am going to talk about what is cyber, what is cyber, what is physical, what is system. This is an example of cyber physical interaction, system of system device. The framework of cyber is released by this. I give an example of this, how I can relate with this. Give an example. One second. This system is tightly controlled. Or tightly. This is the way system of a system, device, cyber, physical. This is an action, physical state. This is a framework of cyber security system was released and is. Can you recall me what are the incidents are legal? I just forget what are the China. Okay, China people loan. Okay, okay. Let me give you this example with a link with in China. Okay, there are AI company only. Okay, AI company which are listed in their stock exchange and they are a billionaire company is so many. One of the company which is a listed company, they are giving unsecured loan on phone only. How they are going to give you a loan? You have to mobile the number. As soon as you give them, you call them, they ask you, okay, do you want to, they would ask you to have a permission to full control. You can take it on their server. So once you allow them, they would collect all the data available in your mobile, they would take it. On the basis of that data, once they were started the company, they were giving unsecured loan, their default ratio was around 10%. And the more they refine the system they are taking, then it becomes 0.1%. So how much money they are making by giving unsecured loan to you? And what are the parameters they have set? They will give you in 5 minutes loan. They would ask you, what are the data they are collecting from your mobile? Where you are serving? What is the date of salary payment? Where do you stay? How many years you are staying in a company you are working? And what are the apps, games you are using? Who are your friends list who are a defaulter? And what day, how many times your mobile battery is discharged? That is also one of the parameters. Suppose you have applied for a loan on 4th and your payment is in 5th, they would immediately love to give it. If your payment is on salary check is coming on 5th and you are asking on 6th, they would be much wary about that. तुम्हारे फ्रेम में कौन सी गेम आप यूज करते हो, आपका क्या क्या कहाँ रहते हो, क्या करते हो, एवरी आपका मोबाइल में जो भी है, आपका मोबाइल में जो आपका फोन लिस्ट है, उसके भी इंफॉर्मेशन इनके पास होती. What are the, how they are doing it? They are physically collecting the data. They have their own server. There is a cyber, there is a system. So these are tightly coupled computation and physical component. And they have made a reason to believe that this person would be making a payment and this person is not going to make the payment. And a configurable of software, embedded processing, real-time sensing. This is called cyber physical system. Now, here I have talked about not a critical one. I am going to talk about critical one very small, then going ahead, and there is some technical aspect. Now, NIS defined this cyber physical systems, smart systems are going an interacting network of physical and computational components. This system will provide a foundation of our critical infrastructure. Okay, let me go to this. This is a cyber physical system. Here, okay, there are sensors. Sensor means they are collecting the information. Suppose sensor, where are the sensors? Camera is a sensor. Temperature control is a sensor. Voltage is a sensor. Pressure is a sensor. Many more information is given to a sensor. What the culprit can do, they can spoof the sensor with the wrong data. And they would not allow the real sensor to use it by denial of service. These are called physical submission of data. What would be the communication? So let me give an example of a mobile phone you're using. When you call somebody, there is a packet coming from one place to another place. Okay? I am receiving a packet. Suppose I call you, so my packet, my voice or my video would be converted into different packets. Packet would contain IP address from it as right, where it is to go, what is the route, and what are the content of the data. And they are also encrypted and they go to that. And one voicemail contains hundreds of data. Uska number hota hai. When it goes not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 may go reach earlier, 1 more get there, and they would be there when you receive the phone. There it will be arranged in an order. and unencrypted and then voice message come. So many times your voice message is broken or data is not coming because of some communication lag, or these are the method. So what is the why I am giving you the packet information? That packet information may be eavesdropping. Okay, eavesdropping means somebody can listen to your data. Somebody can have a packet modification. Somebody can make the modification packet. Packet modification, man in the middle, resource blocking. So I send the mobile to you. Then maybe they block the resources. They will not allow the packet to reach you. That is called resource blocking. Man in the middle. So my mobile reaches to your mobile. There may be some person in the man in the middle. He would use man in the middle attack. So he would contain he would see the content of information. As many times it is encrypted, he may not be able to unencrypt it. But there are methods to unencrypt it. They may be able to change it. But these are very high-end technology. So I have explained the sensor, I have explained the communication, actuator. Actuator क्या होता है कि जैसे ही मेरा पावर प्लांट में वोल्टेज फ्लक्चुएशन ज्यादा हो गया, तो it would control it. But what would be happen actuator? It would not allow my voltage stabilizer to work on the basis of information given to them, or they've been given a deadline. They would not allow them to go ahead with that. This is called actuator mismatch. Okay, deadline mismatch. There is a storage of information. जब मेरा डेटा मेरे कंप्यूटर में या मेरा क्लाउड में या कहीं भी स्टोर है, तो they can change it, modify it. Communication में in between change करते हैं, or they would look into it. They would copy to eavesdropping. Here आपका कंप्यूटर में है, your cloud में है, they would come and then. What do you mean by data remains? As you do not need this data, still it remains in your cloud or any of the storage devices. It's called data remains. Data is not punched properly. That is also available to the perpetrator for using for that purpose. Computing. What do you mean by computing? 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. This is computing. They would not make it 1 plus 2 3, but they would make 1 plus 2 is equal to 4. Many times you heard that in ATM you ask for 2,000 rupees, you ask for 2,000, but you are given 3,000. What they are doing? They are enforced computing error. 2,000 rupees note is considered as X, and they will give you more note. Okay, this has happened in many times when you read daily in newspaper. Timing of the error, time at which you should be like you should give an alarm at 12, but it gives you a 2. So these are the timing error, and information is linked to somebody else. And sensor scopes, sensor scope मैंने बोल दिया कि सेंसर गलत इंफॉर्मेशन देता है. ये वोल्टेज है, टेम्परेचर है अभी 35 है, तो एयर कंडीशन चालू हो जाएगा. या प्रेशर अभी 35 है, एक्चुअली इट इज 28, तो वो 28 को 35 से 40 तक 35 से ऊपर नहीं जाना चाहिए. But even if it is 35, he said that it's at 28, so pressure would go on building. This is called Spencer's spool. Or other way around, आपको 35 है और वो ऑटोमेटिक बंद होना चाहिए, but they would not allow the sensor to inform that it is 35. So जो सेंसर से जो इंफॉर्मेशन मिली, इसके बाद जो बंद होने की जो जगह है, जो स्पेस है, it would be spoof. It's called sensor spoofing. Okay, this is called sensor, which I have already covered. Critical cyber physical system. These are the storage, processing, sensor, network computing. These are the way this data is accumulated. I have explained this here, but these are the means, these are the equipment through this data is moved. Now I'm into why cyber physical system was not ahead few years back. Now why it has started so common? It is because of artificial intelligence coming into picture. Machine learning is possible nowadays. Deep learning is possible. Nanotechnology has come. Because of that, algorithm is easy to develop. You give an example of a Google. Google is making X billion of rupees in India during the whole year because of this powerful algorithm. Even if you click that I want to go to Srinagar, you type Srinagar, okay, then they would give you all information about hotel, all about a air ticket available, whatever way information is available. And they give you any number of instances. Suppose you search something, what Google does, Google have all the information available to him, and they are just giving the information to you on the basis of somebody has written. Only search engine is there. That search engine, the search you make on the basis of that, they would allow their business community to know that this person want this much, and they give that information, and they are earning money out of this method. This is called algorithm. So how it is possible? Because of AI, machine learning, and deep learning. This is called cyber physical system. They have got one powerful computer, powerful AI, this thing. Now, because of the advent of this thing, autopilot project. So, Tesla was the first one to go for autopilot. You don't need a driver to run a car, driver to run a truck, or driver to run this thing. I assure you, machine may be doing far better than you can do it. The reason being, I give you, if you are running a car on 100 and you would be fear of a person, if that person is going near to 1 inch, you would be always keeping a distance. As your car goes fast, your distance would increase. But if it is run by autopilot, they know that how much speed they require, how much they can close it. Even if that person vibrates, how distance they can maintain, how they cannot touch it. These are very powerful information is given to them. And they are machines. They are far ahead of that. And what is the law in India and China? And what is the law in USA? If any accident happens by autopilot, the person who are managing the autopilot project would be responsible for the accident happen to that pilot, that autopilot project. And in China, they say that you are only responsible even if your car is on autopilot. If it is accident happen humanly, human से जो probability of accident है अगर ये autopilot से कम हो तो that autopilot project will not be responsible for that. And they have given a lot of resources to make autopilot work, and they are very far ahead in critical cyber physical control. They have made a research on that. These are the kind of cyber autopilot cyber physical system is working nowadays in a very good project. One of the example I give you an Express AI. They have tagged one of the hospital has tagged n number of more than 5 lakh X-ray, and on the basis of X-ray they have given the probability of the disease which is happening to a person due to X-ray. Okay, and they have tagged them. What is important in AI is a tagging and marking of information. They have marked the information so precisely that if you give any X-ray, they will give you result. There is a possibility again for ये disease है और ये नहीं है. These are the possibility. Okay. Now one step ahead. Few of the company are researching Parkinson diseases at the late of age. Parkinson disease has become a very big issue for elderly people, and it is detected only after it has come into a grievous stage. But they say that because of your leg movement, they can detect the Parkinson disease well in advance. So now these are called. मैंने आपको पहले जो स्लाइड दी थी ना, what are the slide which I said? 1 minute. This is the 1 second. 1 second. This is the one. ये cyber है, physical state है. There is an information. This is an information. Cyber, physical, and this system will work and give the information. This is an example of a lapse in the information. These are the way the system is working. Now, I am into this Parkinson is over unsecured loan. I already from chess game. Previously, it was very impossible to defeat chess champion by a computer. Nowadays, they don't give the computer how to play chess game. They give them the move. What are the moves available? These are the chessboard. These are the moves, and uh, then AI learn on its own by playing few games, and it is possible. The Alpha Zero is unbeatable. Alpha Go Zero was beatable some time back. Now it is very difficult. Even if you look at it, pilot running an aircraft, they have given so much information that they have to do very little, and they have to do with so much information is provided that pilot running an aircraft is going to be a very simple. They would be sitting there, but they don't have to do so many things. Metro, and metro, many cities have a metro, but they have no driver there. It is run by this thing. I give you an example of a super mall in China. You go to a mall, your face recognition would recognize your credit card, all information. As you go and pick up the goods, you don't have to go to a line. As soon as you pick up, it is noted by the computer, by the AI, and as soon as you go out, you are recorded. But many more things are collected by AI. आपने क्या चीज पिकअप किया और रख दिया वापस, आपने क्या चीज देखा बट लिया नहीं. On the basis of that, they would do a marketing for them. And Super Bowl is very cost effective in China. अभी हम Super Bowl में जाते हैं तो you have to wait for queue for all the goods to be entered in computer, but this time has gone. Many AI has been working in China. So these are all cyber physical system. Now we have talked about cyber system. Now we are talking about critical cyber physical. I'm starting with the layman case. One teenager, less than 14 years of age, has taken over Polish tram sound system in Poland. One boy adopted a television remote control unit to take control of switching system on public trams in the city of Lodz, Poland, causing 4 derailment. And many trams to stop. According to report, police said the boy trespassed at the tram depot. He goes into tram depot in the city to gather information and equipment needed to build to have infrared device. The boy has gone into the depot and he has learned everything. He has made a record on his notebook, in his office book. Where is the tram going? Where is the system? How the derailment क्या बोलते हैं ट्रेन का जो सिग्नल है उसको लेफ्ट राइट मूव करने के लिए ट्रेन का जो सिस्टम होता है वो भी इसने पूरा स्विच द ट्राम ट्रैक. He even understand the switching the tram track also. Questioned by police in the presence of psychologist, teenager testified he switched the tram track 3 times. Once causing a tram jump from the track, said the police statement. Is such that the boys have turned up the devices used to switch the tram track. Miroslav Maikor, a spokesman for Lodz police, said that he studied the trams and the tracks for a long time and then built a device that looked like a TV remote control. And he used to maneuver the trams and tracks. He had converted the television control into a device capable of controlling all the junction on the line, and wrote in the pages of a school exercise book where the base junction were to move the trams around and what signal to change. He treated it like a schoolboy. He treated it like any other schoolboy might a giant train set. But it was lucky that nobody was killed. 4 trams were derailed and the other had to make an emergency stop that left passenger hurt. He clearly did not think about the consequences of his action. The boy will face special scenario court in charge of engineering, public safety and police. Now, these are the way it's corrected. Now we are going into this thing. Teenager hacker takes the police system. What are we are going to talk about? Technological, legal and challenges. Techno, legal challenges. Techno need this. Here I would look at like this. Like physical security, logical security, then preventive, detective and corrective. We will talk about preventive, detective and corrective. What is our main purpose of detective? The whole incident we have discussed. Now we will talk about preventive, detective and corrective. And we are talking about logical and physical security. What are the lapses and how it can be overcome. Okay, these are the way. Anything in a business requirement is the first thing. Business to chalna hi chahiye. Otherwise, it won't be possible for anyone to do it. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability needs to be checked out. The business needs to be followed. Management क्या चाहती है? We will discuss in detail about this, not this, but everything. This applies to everything. I give an example of my pharmaceutical company where I was working. They have got a outsourcing work from multinational companies. They are manufacturing drugs and vaccine. So when the outsourcing company gives them a work, they have asked them to take an insurance in case of any information on anything goes misfire. So what was happening when the insurance was taken, CIO and CFO, only directly CEO or CFO were directing what are the information they require to take an insurance. Okay, and their all information is given regarding standard SOP followed, manpower employed, what are preventive measures, what are the physical security, what are logical security, what are technical security, who is doing audit and how is reporting, how these audit queries are solved. Every policy, procedure, hardware, software, everything was written meticulously before taking insurance. If the insurance person will check all these things and then only they will take third party insurance for any damages happened because of this vaccine and the pharmaceutical drugs are sold. So now, if you look at cyber physical security, is not handled by only CIO, but directly sometimes by CEO and CFO. And they were using all the mechanisms, including authentication, two-way authentication, double-way authentication, dual two-way authentication, SOP, hard work. These are hierarchy. These are the way this whole things are run. It's not a rocket science, but you need to understand what you mean by two-way authentication. Two-way authentication means who am I, what I know, and what I have it. What I have it is a card or a digital key. What I know is my password. What I have, what I am, is my finger, my eyes, or not. So this is called single authentication, dual authentication. These are not done by one person, but by two persons. So whenever there is a critical thing, it may be done by two persons. Checker maker concept. It depends on the culture. So these are the way these things are done. Now we are going about this case also. This law requirement, standard application, third way application, buying from management, everything needs to be bought. Whatever you need to inform the management, and management may or may not accept it, but they will be understanding encryption, backup system, data purging, data privacy, data ranking, need to know basis, legal challenges. In this case, if you look at this case, okay, in this case, the boy, if boy has to be made a culprit, prosecuted, what they need to do? They need to collect the evidence from him home, whatever the document he has read, from where he purchased the वेपन, जैसे मर्डर वेपन बोलते हैं, इसलिए ये वेपन जो रिमोट कंट्रोल यूज किया था, इज अ मर्डर वेपन इन दिस केस. और क्या बोलते हैं, कल्प्रिट विक्टिम में कल्प्रिट यूज द this thing, the papers which we found are there. How many times if there's witness who has gone there to see that? These are the legal requirements you need to follow and prosecute, because he is under 14. So there need to be a system by which he is allowed not to speak until his parents are there. And many more things needs to be taken as per the local law. Now, these are the corrective measures. What are the preventive measures now they need to do? They should use the track system in such a way that two-way authentication may be possible. One person is allowing him, and the other person is taking. Now the train is going on this track. Let the track be changed. Where the brake to be used. There are 2 persons watching this. There will be, and he has traveled to some place to check the whole information. So there will be CCTV camera, there will be a witness, and many more things are kept, so that nobody can hack or understand the system in a whole, and they can again do the same thing. These are called preventive, detective, and corrective action. This is a very small and simple case of teenager hacker take over the police stamp system. Now we are going into some more critical systems. This is a case which I collected from this thing, where only first death reported following a ransomware attack in German hospital. And deaths occur after patient got diverted to a nearby hospital after D University Hospital suffered a ransomware attack. German authorities are investigating the death of the patient following a ransomware attack in the hospital in D. The patient, identified only as a woman who need to urgent medical care, died after being rerouted to a hospital in the city W, which is more than 30 kilometers away from initial intended destination, the D hospital. The D hospitals were unable to receive her as it was in the midst of dealing with a ransomware attack. That is its network and infected was third internal server. Human life in any case is very important. What went wrong if you look at this incident? What they have done, ransomware must have done what they have done. They have entered into a system, they have encrypted or decrypted or wiped out all the information which the hospital needs to run, and they are asking for a money to allow them to use this thing. So somehow they are able to come into the system and their code is present there, and because of that reason they are having this thing. So what could have been avoided if they have a dual system, they have a backup system? What they could have done, they could have stopped this and start backup this system, start running hospital in the meantime. They would be able to negotiate, or some of the cybersecurity personnel will be able to find out what is the code which they have done it, what code they have used, how they use the code, and how that code could have come. Is like they've come as a benign code. When you generally download lot many apps, so any app which may have a code, they must have n number of software which they are using. So any software needs to have a checksum, and they have to be checksum regularly. That checksum tells with the software. If there is a change in checksum, there must be a change in the software they are using. Sometimes there will be change in the data also. Data may need to be encrypted, and data need to have privacy. These are the three things. There will be a firewall, IDS, physical security, logical security. If we go into that, there should be a system audit by personnel. These are theoretical answers which I don't going to discuss. But because if you follow this, there are a lot of chances that the mistake does not happen. Or hacking not become so easy as many times it has happened. This is one case of hospital we have taken. Now we are going into more grave case. Georgia-based pipeline company halts its operation of cyber attack. Generally, what happens if you look into Germany, if you look into UK, you look into this thing. Russia is supplying gas, oil, and other fuel to Germany, UK, and many more by the pipeline. This is a pipeline effect. What happens? A US Germany company says that a cyber attack forced it to temporarily halt all operation on a major pipeline that delivers roughly around 45% of fuel consumed by East Coast. Colonial Pipeline said the attack took place. Colonial Pipeline said the attack took place Friday and also affected some of its information technology system. The company transport gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, home heating oil, refinery, primarily located on the Gulf Coast through pipeline running on Texas and New Jersey. What they've been doing, they have been manipulating the pipeline. Because of that, the gas and oil were not served to the New Jersey people, which was running from Texas. So what happened if you don't get a gas in a New Jersey? Many things needs to be closed. Colonial is taking a step to understand and resolve it. What are the things in the system? They have got a control system. By control, they allow pressure to be maintained, voltage to be maintained, and temperature to be maintained. How much flow should be there is totally controlled. And they're having an automatic mechanism by which they are doing it. Somebody put a code on this control mechanism. That is what we have discussed in earlier sessions. There is a sensor, there is which I will talk to you. Let me go there. So there are sensors, there is a communication, there is the actuator, there is the storage, there is the computing. These are the way these things work. Once it is failed, system is gone, and it may cost billions and billions of dollars. So these are not only critical to individual, but to not to a company, but even to a nation also. Many electrical grids are controlled. Many nuclear plants are being manipulated by the other party in the process. Yes, these are the Georgia-based pipeline company. Now we are into this is a case which I discussed for the sake of discussion because I like this case. One culprit has gone to burglar one house, and that person has we go to the first floor, break the house, burglary done. Now he feels safe. I don't need to go right now. Let me go after having my dinner and getting some sleep. He stayed there for a while, for 5 hours. In the meantime, he was bitten by mosquitoes. And mosquitoes were there in the house. And some of the mosquitoes' dead body was there. And from that, the sample was taken. From mosquitoes, the blood sample was taken. And on the basis of mosquitoes sample, the burglar was found out in 90 days from taking a blood sample, the thief was found. So now if you look at the way in India today, there are only thumb impression of some person available. It may be possible that in a 5 years time, those are culprits, uska eyes, uska finger, uska face recognition, and uska blood sample, every detail would be available with the government, and it can be used to catch him. I give an example in China. One person who was a perpetrator was caught because of face recognition technique. When this face recognition technique was implemented, when that culprit has visited a stadium which is having more than 1.2 lakh people were there. Out of that, he was caught and he was recognized where he is and he's got there. So now in the years to come, this is the technology which is going to be implemented in the years to come. Iran nuclear plant attacked. by mystery surround the nuclear sabotage at NASC. In Israel, some reports have suggested a cyber attack might have been responsible, but Iran has talked of infiltrator amid report of an explosion linked to power generator. One thing report seems to agree that the incident affected the power distribution or network of NAS, leading to a blackout until the emergency power was kicked in. Now Iran's nuclear power plant was hacked by Israel. They could have blasted it. They could have done a lot of damage. So what is the moral of this Iran nuclear? Cross-border attack is common. Countries are involved. Time and money is in abundance with this thing. Time, money, and resources, intelligence. There will be group. There may be a flick of person may be kept by the country to attack the other country. So there will be now there is an army, air and navy, but still the fourth one, there will be a cyber cell will be there. Whole flick of cyber personnel will be there, like army, air and navy. And I had heard at the time of election, first time when President Trump was elected, he said that I would physically transform a lot of data from one embassy to another embassy because he was very sure, very certain that a lot of embassy information is going to China with ease and comfort. So now we are going one step ahead. Now, what is the intensity of the cyber attack now? A cyber attack in Saudi Arabia had a deadly goal. Experts fear another try may be possible in case of Sadra Chemical. What happened in the case of Sadra Chemical? Let me discuss. Within the minutes of the attack at Tansi, the hard drive inside the company's computer were destroyed and their data were wiped out and clean, replaced with the image of Ellen Crudis, the small screen child who drowned off post Turkey during his embassy's family attempt to flee the country's civil war. American engineer computer system was compromised. They still do not identify the company or the country where it is based and have to be identified the culprit. So I am somewhere, okay? Let me tell you what happened. जैसे ही cyber attack हुआ, company का hard drive was wiped off and destroyed. The data were cleaned, replaced with the image of a person who were against the Saudi. Okay. The American company computer system was compromised. The whole automated plant was run on the basis of computer system provided by American engineer. They still do not identify, they still would not be identifying the company or country where it is based and were not able to identify the culprit. But the attackers were sophisticated, there were plenty of money, plenty of resources. They must be supported by government according to the vision of the cyber security expert. Further, the only thing in this case, it would be possible for them to have an explosion in the plant. There may be a death, not only damage to property, but death also was possible. The only thing, even they could damage the pipeline or something, so that not only the factory but nearby factory also can be damaged. These are the way the intensity is possible. A team at System Electrical, which made this system, that were called the Trinux safety controller, is also looking into attack. The people who spoke, and so are the National Security Agency, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Pentagon's Defense Advanced Research and Project Control. So the whole US is after this. Why it has happened? Which has been forensic tool. They have been the country wants who has had the Cisna electric system, which is being used by 80,000 companies, more than 80,000 companies. All companies are really big companies. What is investigative intelligence? The most of that is that hackers compromise the general's controller, which keep equipment operating by performing tasks like regulating voltage, pressure, and temperature. Those controllers are used in around 18,000 plants all around the world, including nuclear, water treatment facility, oil and gas, and national and chemical plants. Trinov system was believable to be lock and key operation. In other words, the safety controls would be tracked and dismantled only with the physical contact. But they were believing that system is so proof that nobody can go and change the system until they go physically there. How did the hacker get it? The investigator found that they add an odd digit there, meaning thereby they add a code into it. File in a computer, in an engineering workstation that looked like a legitimate part of the control, but was designed to support the system. So the code which they have written have a full control over the control system which they were operating. So this controlling system was guided by this another control called one odd digit file, and they would be guiding them to do what they want to do. And this is the first time this system were supported remotely. They said that they have not come here further. The only thing that prevented a significant damage was a bug in the attacker's computer code that immediately shut down the plant's production system. What they done, instead of sabotaging the pressure, this thing, a wall or anything, they could have exploded the system, but by mistake there was a flaw in the system. Plant production system was shut down. Data were swiped out. An aggressor nation, our extremist group, could use this kind of cyber tools to gain a control of critical switches. The attacker not only to figure out how to go into the system, they had to understand design well enough to know the layout facility, where they are, where is the layout, they can order. And this investigable system could be available in eBay for 40,000 rupees. So what we have discussed from this is like that. You need to be very careful. You need to have a two-way authentication. Dual authentication system, two-way authentication. Two-way authentication means what you are, what you be, your physical thumb, eye, face recognition, and what you know or what you are. What you know is far better because your password is not to you only. The card or the digital, the other instrument can be taken away by someone. So these are the two-way authentication is possible. If these are the kind of system like Saudi Arabia, you need to have this system to even allow anybody to enter the physical security as well as logical. Somebody needs to work on it. So before they would need to give a guide to this computer, this Trilux system, they have to be two-way authentication. There will be a checker maker. Somebody would say, okay, allow this person to do this thing. And one would be checking this thing. So there would be a one information, one order would be passed by checker and maker concept. There should be a total physical security. Nobody would allow to have logical access, need to know basis, regular audit. Everybody would do whatever, who have come, would have done what, and all the data are encrypted or not. Outside agency would come and this, and the software would be checked. There would be a checksum for all software. Data would be always encrypted. There would be a black box approach. Sometimes the audit would be done. So what do you mean black box audit and software audit? 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So you would fit the data as you want, and you will get the result what you want. There would be 100 parameters you would check it in a black box approach, and you get the same result. Then you are sure that the system is as it should have been. And then will be software audit. Software audit, what you will do? 5 plus 5, 10. You will go and check out everything whether it is according to the requirement or not. So log audit. Whatever log audit is done, you are doing a log audit. AI may be used, as I said, in the legal implication in autonomous USA versus China. AI, machine learning and deep learning has made the system so easy. But you need to be aware of so many things together. A hacker tried to, one of the hacker, this is a very simple case in which a hacker came to the computer system where the water pipeline was there would be a pressure, there would be some level of matter, chemical needs to be put in to have a clean water, but that person has poisoned by giving X is to 10x, and because of that, the whole Florida city could have been in danger. But there were time control. But what happened? He has captured the controls from TeamViewer. And the person who is a plant manager was, when he was operating first time, he realized that there is someone who is using his mouse button, but he doesn't have a doubt that somebody is there in the computer. But next time when he was there, he has changed the composition of the water, and there he gets the control and he stopped it, and he was operating through TeamViewer. Now, what I'm saying, whenever there is a critical system, you need to have all the measures which is possible for you to take it. Okay? Which I've explained you the number of ways. There are many standard ISO standards, many standards are there. If you follow the standard, there is because not because there's an audit, but because you want management wants it, then it would have been an effective way of dealing with the situation. Yes, I had taken a talk on GNL on the same subject. I would like to have a talk on this, on some of the legal aspects of it. So I'll be giving 5 minutes on that. So when I presented at Supreme Court, and I was listening to the deliberation going on between two lawyers and the judge was listening to it. When the lawyer was arguing with that, judge said that you just refer the law. The lawyer took on the books. He read some few sentences. Just said stop. Now listen to this sentence twice. He said this twice. Look, stop here. The interpretation should be like this, not like this. This is how the Supreme Court judges or any judges happen. So what is the conclusion? 99.9 there is a fact and 0.0% is the law. What you need to derive is a fact to be elaborated in such a way that it becomes very clear and there is a branding of you, your company, as well as your client, as well as the facts of the case. If you look at the Puspa story, it's a normal story. But the way they have in-depth analyzed the movie and scripted the movie, that movie has become very powerful. Not only the actor, every song, every dialogue, everything is so precisely done. So whenever you do anything, you need to do with so much precision so that you will be able to have a technical aspects to be done properly, legal aspect to be done properly, and you are documenting preventive, detective, and corrective action properly, and you are also selling the requirement to even management also. So the same way as you know in the business of CPS, the same should be happen to when you appear before a law. One more thing you need to understand: when you are an advocate, when you are there, you must be prepared for unknown, because there may be unknown facts, unknown law, unknown representation come from other side of the lawyer, as well as some question may be asked by the judge also. So when you are in the court, you need to be present to a court and you need to understand what is happening around you. So in the days of previously, people were telling the knowledge is the power, but now the term has changed. Application of knowledge is the power. You need to understand things so simply so that you can use it in a better way and you can understand. So when you become a lawyer, you may be a law enforcement agency, you may be a judge, or you may be working in a company for a lawyer or this thing. So facts and visualize and law would be very important for you. So there are different kind of evidence, oral evidence, documentary evidence, primary evidence, secondary evidence, real evidence, hearsay evidence, direct evidence. I'm not going into detail, but hearsay evidence is not at all taken into consideration, but it sometimes gives a value or changes the view of the judge also. So many times you are branding the facts in a different way. So hearsay evidence may be important for you. But the more the relevant you are, the more effective you are. Motive, preparation, hearsay, admission. What is the difference between admission and confession? Opinion of experts are also taken care. Oral, direct, primary, secondaries, circumstantial evidence, rule of presumption, 65B. Many more PPTs are available on the blog. Please subscribe to it. See Nitin Pathak, founder, president of Visaga chapter Ahmedabad. Any query, professor, just email me nitinampathak@gmail.com or 9825804094. Now I will offer that anyone to ask the question. You are there. First, we are going to talk on the subject of this thing. Okay. Is there anything else anybody want to say? Let me open the, anybody wants to call, unmute themselves. Now you can unmute yourself. Everybody is allowed to unmute themselves. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. Anybody wants a CP? Anybody wants a CPO? Just email me, nitinampathak@gmail.com, 9825804094. And your CPUs will be given to you. Please give your CP, the Visaga chapter number, name, and your email ID and mobile number, and your CPUs will be available within a day or two. Anyone wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself. Next lecture on 5th on GST. Anybody wants to do CISA, welcome. Even can you email me? This will not be available to me.